Yo, I'm about to show you guys how to mix beats. So Fleeko, CLA, producer community, all my screen recorders out there. If anybody wants to clip this and upload this to YouTube, I'm gonna show you how. And yes, everyone's gonna scrutinize me for this in the Twitter, on the Twitter feeds, on all the old heads, everywhere, every kid ever who's hating. So I'm gonna just show you how this is how I mix my beats. It's not saying how to mix beats, because there's no how to mix anything. It's how you mix it. You get what I'm saying? No how to, but how you. So step one is I'm going to solo the 808. And I'm gonna lower it so I have some headroom around, probably around like 3 to 6 around the limiter. So you never want to mix. When you're mixing, you never want to mix all your stuff, is what they tell you. This is what they tell you. They tell you never want to mix your stuff all the way up, because then all the artifacts, they get crushed and then they get sloshed. But right here, I'm just telling you, if you want to try this approach, this is an easy approach. So boom, get your 808, give you some headroom, like under 0 dB, then bring in your clap right after that. You don't want to have your clap too loud to where, you know, it's outshining your 808, but you don't want it too quiet, so you just want to level it around right the same. And I always make sure my claps are pretty crispy. So next, I'm going to bring in a hi-hat. The hi-hat is easily... The hi-hat, I mean, you don't really need to see the knobs. You guys really don't need to see the knobs. This is literally just... It's going based on volume, which a lot of guys get mixed up. I could cover this whole thing and do this tutorial with no screen, and it would still make the same sense. So you don't want your hi-hats too loud to where your 808s are quiet, and you don't want them too quiet to where you can't even feel the bounce. So I tend to make them a little quieter than my clap and 808. These levels are not, like set levels that you have to put your levels at. You don't ever mix your beats based off the levels you see in front of you, like visually. The meter, oh, I need to put this one a half an inch lower than this one. No, you should never do that, because every sound has a different, you know, volume to it, because they're all exported at different volumes and different amplitudes, whatever. So then I'm just gonna bring in my perks and keep them tucked in the background. Now that I have that, I'm just gonna put the kick in and then make it louder than the 808, but not too loud to where it's like OP. And then after I do that, then I bring my melody in. Then once you have them leveled, you just put on your favorite limiter, master, or plugin, whatever. There's Waves L3 I like to use sometimes. Isotope, it doesn't matter. You can use Maximus. They all do the same thing. You could use multiband compressor. I just use the Fruity limiter too. I just keep raising the gain until it sounds crushed, and then I pull it right like underneath, because you guys think my beats sound like this. Like that's how you guys make it seem when you complain, but like at the same time it's only like this in reality. Watch. This is getting clipped. All of this is getting, anything, I could put my ceiling at negative 6 dB and it'll be clipped. Because that's how my envelope is. My attack is 0, release 0, like everything's, it's just quick. So that's why it sounds like that. It's not going over 0 dB. Like my mixes never go louder than 0 dB. And if anything, I always, whenever engineer or whoever I'm working with, if I put it in Pro Tools, I always bring the beat down like a decibel or 3, so there's room, and then you can, you know, work on the new project around it. But basically, I don't really do any of this mixer stuff anymore, like level it up every time, just because it takes a lot of time when I'm streaming and I'm trying to, you know, be efficient. So all I will do is I do that same process right here in these little knobs in the step sequencer. Like, these knobs are really what are so fire about FL, because you can just mix it all from here, and I just do that there. And then when I have this, I just go to my master and put my limiter on, and then I'm good to go. I don't have to sit here and isolate every single sound, because nobody wants to sit in a session when an artist wants to record on your beat, and no one wants to sit there just soloing frequencies and mixing. Like, no one, that's just a waste of time, honestly. Like, you can do that at home. So it's all about being efficient with working with somebody in a studio. And then as far as mixing, like talking about sounds, like EQs, I mean, all my drum kits, they sound good, so I don't have to do that. Like, I only use drum kits that I like how they sound quality wise, so I don't have to edit them later. Like, I made my sounds sound good before they're in a beat, so that way when I put them in a beat, they can just go in. Soft Clipper, Soft Clipper does the same thing as this. It literally does the same. The release is probably like different, but it essentially does the same thing. Like, they all do the same thing. And if your beats are sounding like bad quality, and it's because of your mix, one, you gotta address your sound selection. Make sure the sounds you're using they have the right frequencies for what you need. Like, your claps don't need a bunch of low end in them. Your hi-hats don't need any low end. They're all high. Your claps should have high end in them. I always boost them extra just so they're really crispy. 808s don't need to have high end in them unless they're like certain distorted 808s. And even then, you tuck. I mean, mixing, I'm not a mixing engineer, so I'm not going to tell you here for every song. This is how I mix my beats to get them to an artist. I don't mix my beats for the project because, I mean, half the time in today's age of music, this is the truth. Like, a lot of people don't care as much about all the tiny little details. I mean, half the songs I have are they just recorded over the MP3 in Pro Tools, and they didn't even get stems or anything. And those songs have way more streams than a song that's like professionally done, whatever, this and that, and it has like just 1 million plays versus something that's like has 200 million plays and it was just done over MP3. I mean, it's just really how you prioritize your time on stuff that is really important and stuff that's not really important. But enough with the little tutorial or mentor teaching thing I just did. And now when I go on my phone tomorrow or the next few days, I'm going to have to see this on my YouTube. So I won't read the comments because I'm just not about to. But how do I find my samples? I have my producer send them to me. I don't really like to go out searching for samples. I mean, if I do, I just go on YouTube and look up songs. I'll just really listen to songs. Or if I hear something somewhere on the radio or something, I'll like use Shazam on my like phone, and then I'll find the song and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna sample this or something.
Nick, you're stupid.
I got someone banging at the door. Hold on. Who is it?